you've got the State Department saying this guy is a problem. And then you have an activist judge saying, oh, well, you moved his case to Louisiana where there's a conservative court. We don't want that. We're going to move it back to New Jersey. Don't forget, this is the kid. He's not a kid. He's 30 years old. His wife is 8 months pregnant. He's a green card holder. He's married to an American. He ignited all these protests where kids were really, Jewish students felt really, really uncomfortable there on campus. Heck, anybody would feel uncomfortable with all those marches and protests. And he kind of like lit up a lot of protests all over Columbia, all over New York, and that movement spread. And so he is considered, therefore, a danger to the nation. Mahmoud, forgive me, I call him Muhammad, Mahmoud Khalil. That's his name. And so this is a very, very similar kind of thing where you've got these activist judges trying to get in the way of the actual law. And like people are just using the law for a change. Marco Rubio is saying, hey, you know what? And by the way, Marco's a smart lawyer. He's saying, I can do this. He's Secretary of State, and he's using this little known law to justify the detention and deportation. He said it's his right to do so. And he can do this under a 1952 act. Okay, so maybe you haven't seen it used a lot. Maybe you haven't seen it used since 1952, but it's the McCarran-Walter Act of 1952. And this is what gives the federal government, the Secretary of State, it specifically empowers the Secretary of State to expel foreign nationals who pose a threat to the United States. Well, the government has not yet explained, this is an article in Newsweek, I believe, yet precisely how he meets this qualification. The president's spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, has indeed said that Khalil organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe in their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda flyers with the logo of Hamas. So there you go. There you go. He was out there distributing flyers with a Hamas logo. Marco Rubio wants to implement a 1952 law that enables him to expel him and deport him because, you know, you're kind of here on our graces, good graces. You're kind of like at the invite of the United States. And if you're considered a threat, and that kid was a threat, again, full-grown adult, 30 years old. He was a threat to students on campus for sure. Heck, you know how big a threat it was? They had to cancel classes at my own alma mater. I don't even recognize this school anymore, for goodness sakes. They had to cancel classes at Columbia University. They had to cancel the graduation because one guy wants to stir it up. And now we're going to have them tell us, no, you can't use the McCarran-Walter Act of 1952 that does give Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, the power to detain and deport him. You can't use it because we want to jump in and just make your life difficult. I'll tell you, they are not on the winning side of this issue. Again, court of public opinion. You win that one all day long. It's why Donald Trump won, okay? So the Democrats are really stupid with all these things that they're playing around with. And you know they're going to play around with it as far as the sports athletic situation goes too. Trans swimmers at UPenn, oh, well, $175 million was just lost by University of Pennsylvania. They should lose more, actually, because they also had all these protests that made Jewish students feel incredibly uncomfortable and victimized on campus. Anyway, this trans swimmer, you know the trans swimmer I'm talking about, all kinds of awards, blew through all these records. UPenn, so proud of it. Imagine being Riley Gaines and like being forced to have to change with somebody who has not gone through the operation. Let's just be very, very clear. Has a very different set of body parts. I don't mean to be too graphic, but that is so wrong on every level. I can't even believe that we have to talk about this. Take a listen.
President Trump has promised to protect female athletes. He has threatened to rip federal funding away from any university that defies his executive order banning biological males from infiltrating women's sports, and he is doing it. We are the first to report that President Trump has paused $175 million in federal funding from the University of Pennsylvania over its controversial policies. A senior administration official telling Fox Business that this is just a taste of what could could be coming down the pipe for Penn, a proactive punishment from the president to pull back discretionary spending going to the school from DOD and HHS. The university is still at risk of losing all its federal funding as a result of the ongoing Title IX investigations looking into Penn for allowing transgender athlete and biological male Leah Thomas to compete on the women's swim team, use women's locker rooms, while exposing his male genitalia to his fellow female athletes.
I mean, can you believe that we're even talking about this? I mean, what kind of surreal upside down universe are we living in where somehow it's okay for somebody with the full on body parts of a man to be changing next to you in the locker room and for the university to say, you suck it up, you deal with it. You're just a girl, right? He thinks he's a girl, but you're just a girl. I'm sorry, this is like really, really bad for women. And the fact that liberal women would stick by this blows me away. Like, I'm like, are you guys like really, really crazy? Like, what is your point? You feel like maybe this will make you stronger? Like maybe you'll have to swim even faster? No, you won't be able to, because guess what? Leah Thomas couldn't get to first base in swimming. Was ranked like way down, like number 400 and something. And then all of a sudden is winning new records, bursting through all these records that had previously been set and collecting all the golds. I'm sorry. That is not in the name of protecting women in any way, shape, or form. You fought so hard for Title IX. And then it gets stripped away from you in the name of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Somebody who, I mean, you know what, Leah? I'd have a little more respect for you if you actually went through the operation and lost a body part. Then maybe we could at least talk. It still wouldn't matter, though. It still wouldn't matter, and I'll tell you why. Without having to be too graphic and take you back to Bio 101. For all those years, Leah Thomas, when Leah Thomas was a boy, a man, Leah Thomas was growing muscle with a lot of testosterone in Leah Thomas's body. Therefore, there's a certain amount of muscle mass that was accumulated. You know why they tell women to really make sure that you work out, especially when you get into your 40s and 50s? It's really important because that muscle mass, that's there and hopefully going to last you the rest of your life, okay? So when you have the hormone, in other words, you hit a certain point in your life and you're not going to have the same kind of hormone function. And so women need to really make sure that they work out before they get there. Listen, if you're a young man and you're working out and you're building muscle and you have all that testosterone, that's great. You're going to build muscle and you're going to triumph over the naturally born females. Again, I can't believe we even have to talk about it, but we do, okay? Because it keeps happening. I want to go out to Portland, Oregon. This blows me away, all right? I have a daughter who's a runner, so this really, really gets to me when I see stuff like this. This is the women's 400 in Portland, Oregon, and a male student just left all the female runners in the dust and set a season record. Must be awfully proud of himself there, Take a look at this. Okay, here we are, coming around the track. You can't see any of the girl runners. Oh, there they are, way, way behind. So this is courtesy of Libs of TikTok, one of our favorite Twitter accounts. And there we go, in Portland, Oregon, male runner in the girls 400, setting the new record, and the poor girls are left. I mean, this is horrifying to me that we're seeing this. It's just horrifying, but this is where we are right now, okay? So yes, Donald Trump is telling University of Pennsylvania, you're gonna lose $175 million in federal funding because you don't seem to have any respect for women's sports. Don't forget, even the NCAA came out and said, we are now going to make sure that girls compete against girls, boys compete against boys. So everybody's like on board except, a few lone states and colleges, but you lose the money. So that's that. Speaking of losing money, The Department of Education is about to lose a whole lot of money. I want to get to that in a second. But first, remember my company, 76 Research. I started this financial research company for you guys because I wanted to make sure that you had a fair, even playing field when it came to investing. Go over there. You can get it for $1 a month. Code word dollar, courtesy of me, 76research.com. We just published actually 2 new ideas there for you this week. 76research.com, code word dollar. And of course, my friends at Balance of Nature, you still hear this little darn post-nasal drip thing I got going on. Sorry, too much information. Anyway, I've had a cold, but I only got 1 this year, which is like a record for me, like a serious record, because I'm normally sick with like 4 or 5 different colds throughout the year. I've been taking my Balance in Nature. You can too. 35% off. Use code word Trish. We'll put the information in the page, in the show description, so you can get the link. Use my code word Trish. It helps the show. It helps me. It helps you. 1-800-246-8751 is their number. Okay, the Department of Education is going bye-bye. See you later. This is what Linda McMahon was brought in to do, to dismantle the Department of Education, which was started in 1976 by none other than Jimmy Carter, who, wanted to get bigger and bigger and bigger so you could control what all these kids coming out of school would think. And Donald Trump's saying, no, I want to bring it back to the states. Let's let the states handle it. Let's let the states pay for it. Let's take this one off the federal bureaucracy.